Alright, so today we're going over a super beginner friendly prompt that you can simply copy paste and plug into ChatGPT, and it'll help you come up with 10 usable product ideas based on one specific topic. So it's super simple. You can copy the prompt from the description of the video or the pinned comment depending what YouTube allows us to do. Once you have it copied, you can paste it into ChatGPT, hit enter, and then just basically follow the line of questions that it'll be asking you and just answer as descriptively as possible to get the most out of the prompt. Now, you can use the prompt, like I said, it's super beginner friendly. You can just plug it into any chat if you like, but what we recommend on this channel is to simply use projects mode. The reason for that is it just keeps everything nice and organized, like its own specific folder, and it has the little add-on of having this amazing memory mode feature where it stays confined to project only. By doing this, let's just say digital product here. By doing this, it essentially limits the memory of the specific project. It stays confined within there, and anything that basically ChatGPT remembers in the projects mode stays confined there, and it doesn't take memories from other chats or vice versa. So this way, it just helps keep your ChatGPT overall memory hygiene nice and clean. So as we see here, digital product, I don't know why I misspelled that, and let's go ahead and create the project. So now we're ready to enter the prompt. We're going to go ahead and click paste, and this is how it works. It basically says, you are my one topic to 10 product ideas generator. Your job is to take one topic and produce 10 strong digital product ideas with clear buyers, clear outcomes, and clear deliverables. Then there's a lot more to the prompt, but you guys can go ahead and take a look at it yourselves if you like and edit it. But essentially, it's just basically to get it to start asking us questions. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. And yet, as you'll see, the next thing it does is start asking us questions. So what's the one topic? Be specific, because it wants to ask us to get context before it actually comes up with these amazing product ideas. So in this case, right, I'm going to go ahead and actually answer all of these questions now. I'm not going to do it like while recording. I'm going to come right back to them. We'll go over them super quickly. That way the whole video isn't me just responding to questions, because that'll take up some time, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and answered the questions, and I just basically made the topic on anxiety recovery. Then it basically asked, so what's the topic? I said anxiety recovery. Who do you want to sell to? I just said beginner or intermediate. My guess is people that are trying to recover in this context. What's the number one painful problem they have in this topic? For this, I said understanding recovery and how it works. Now, you can apply this to almost any other situation that you're doing, but this is just an idea of how I went with this specific topic. Now, once again, when responding to these questions, it would help to be as descriptive as possible. I've been very general here. I could have went into a bit more depth, but the more information you give, the better the product will be overall, and the better the outcome from ChatGPT for this prompt. So we see here, what outcome do they want fast? I just said recovery. What product formats do you prefer? I just said guide, course, maybe all, not sure. Price range you want? I'm not sure. Where will you sell it? I said Gumroad unless you recommend elsewhere. And then finally, any claims or topics to avoid. In this context, I just said strong health claims because we're just making some sort of content for anxiety recovery in this case. Then we see here are 10 digital product ideas for anxiety recovery, built for beginners to intermediate buyers who want to understand recovery and how it works with safe wording with no strong health claims. Then it goes over the assumptions, any missing info, a simple platform. Note Gumroad is a good starting choice. And then later you can add to StanStore or whatever it recommends. And then here are the actual 10 product ideas. So we have the Anxiety Recovery Starter Map. Beginner adults who feel confused about anxiety recovery and want a roadmap. So they have a roadmap idea. Then we have the Recovery Clarity Workbook. And it gives us pricing, it gives us the build time estimate, why it will sell, and a disclaimer, and ways that you can actually use this and monetize it. Then we see here Anxiety Recovery Mini Course. Once again, it goes over all these amazing details, which I find fantastic when you're trying to come up with a product. A setback survival kit, daily anxiety recovery journal, the anxiety recovery myths bundle, etc. And just basically give you a ton of products that you can go through and select what you find is best. And then as you see here, it goes ahead and scores each of these things to come up with the best one overall that you should focus on. So we see here, for instance, it'll score on like each idea regarding demand, base to build, differentiation, and likely conversion. With a total score, my assumption is the higher the better, and I believe the Anxiety Recovery Starter Map is the highest score, alongside Myths Bundle and a couple other ones, which is, it's great to really come down and hone in on one idea by having this type of metric. And we see here the best 3 ideas. It provides the 3 that it thinks is best. But you can always select which ones you prefer and have it, take a look at it and maybe reshape it around your own vision. Then we see here 2 positioning tweaks to increase sales. 1, do not sell it as anxiety recovery help. Sell it as a beginner-friendly explanation of what recovery can look like and when everything feels confusing. Then we see a 48-hour validation plan for the number 1 idea. It gives us an action plan we can actually take with 2 angles of clarity and realistic expectations, that we're not making it a quick fix in this example. 2 outreach scripts we can utilize to basically test the market. And then pass or fail metrics. 10 plus real replies from the target audience, 40% plus say the topic is confusing. And otherwise there's the fail metrics that would say, okay, maybe this product's not good, and then we can move on to another one. For instance, if most people say the topic feels too vague, or the feedback shows buyers want personal coaching instead of a product, etc., etc. And then the disclaimer suggestion for the product page: this product is for educational purposes only and not medical, psychological, or therapeutic advice. It is not intended to diagnose, and this is just a safety measure which they would utilize, or which you can utilize, depending on the topics that you guys are trying to make products on. But that's about it. It's that simple. So you just copy the prompt. You can take it from the description of the video or the pinned comment, depending where it is, depending what YouTube allowed us to do. Once you have it, enter it into ChatGPT in wherever you like, whether it's a chat or projects mode. You hit enter, answer all of the questions as descriptively as possible, with as much detail as possible, so you'll get better results. And at that point, you're pretty much good to go to start coming up with topics by using one topic to create 10 product ideas. And then once you actually figure out which one you like the best, after ChatGPT gave it to you, you can start working on it in the same chat with ChatGPT, because it'll understand what you're working. So as you see here, the next best move is to launch the starter map first, then upsell the workbook. At that point, you can just go ahead and message it and say, can you help me build this? And it will. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.